In this video, we'll be using the double angle identities. Our example that we'll be doing is to write cosine 3x in terms of cosine x. So I'm going to start by writing cosine 3x as cosine 2x plus x. Then I can use my cosine of a sum identity, which is cosine A plus B equals cosine A cosine B minus sine A sine B. I'll use this identity to rewrite this cosine of a sum. So this will be cosine of my first angle, so cosine 2x, times cosine of my second angle, so cosine x, minus sine of my first angle, sine of 2x, times the sine of my second angle, which shall be sine of x. Now I'm going to use my double angle identities to rewrite this factor and to rewrite this factor. Since I'm wanting everything in terms of cosine, I'm going to use this identity for cosine 2a. So I'm going to write 2 cosine squared x minus 1 to replace this factor, and then that's multiplied by cosine x, minus, and then for sine 2x, I'm going to use 2 sine x cosine x, and then that's multiplied by this sine x factor. Alright, let's simplify this a little bit before we start working on it anymore. I need to distribute this cosine x into this binomial. So I have 2 cosine cubed x minus cosine x. And then these two I can put together and make that sine squared. So minus 2 sine squared x cosine x. My directions were to write everything in cosine x, so I'm good here and here. I need to replace this sine squared x, and I can use my Pythagorean identity for that one. I know that my sine squared x plus cosine squared x is equal to 1, and so if I want to isolate sine squared and see what that's equal to, I would have sine squared x is equal to 1 minus cosine squared x, because I would subtract cosine squared x from both sides. So now I'll put this expression in place of sine squared x. So let me just copy here. I have 2 cosine cubed x minus cosine x minus 2 times, and then in place of sine squared, I'm going to put 1 minus cosine squared x, and then times this cosine x. Right. Everything's in terms of cosine x. I just need to clean it up a little bit. I'm going to move this cosine x out here with the 2, copying these first two terms, and then I'm going to write minus 2 cosine x, and then that'll get distributed through the binomial here, 1 minus cosine squared x. So this product then gets distributed. So I have copied this again to cosine cubed x minus cosine x. Negative 2 cosine x times 1 is negative 2 cosine x. And then negative 2 cosine x times a negative cosine squared x will be a positive 2 cosine cubed. So I can combine like terms. We have 2 cosine cubed x plus 2 cosine cubed x. That is 4 cosine cubed x. And then I have a negative 1 cosine x minus 2 cosine x, which is negative 3 cosine x. So my problem was to write cosine 3x in terms of cosine x, and that's done.